welcome back to our channel. So today is another Let's Talk video. I have really been enjoying doing these videos on different topics that I am kind of passionate about and also feel like should be talked about more. And so that's why I kind of started these Let's Talk videos, because I wanted to touch on these topics more, and I feel like they should be talked about more anyways. So today's video is all about gentle parenting. I had asked you guys on Instagram if that's something you guys would be interested in, and a lot of you guys said yes. So yeah, that's what today is. We're just gonna talk about gentle parenting. So first off, what is gentle parenting? A lot of people have this misconception that gentle parenting means there's no discipline. You let your kids get away with everything basically. Your kids could do whatever they want to and you don't discipline them. A lot of people right away, they hear gentle parenting and they think that. And that is not what gentle parenting is at all. There is no discipline, but you do set boundaries. You're not just like laid back, sitting in the background, letting your kid do whatever they want to, going all crazy. You are setting boundaries for them, but you explain why you're setting those boundaries, and you also let them know that it's okay to feel upset that there's boundaries, but this is the reason why there's boundaries, if that makes sense. So it's more of, instead of demanding them to do something, you're explaining to them why something needs to be done or is done this way. And that's like the biggest difference in my head from the research I've done and what I've read and different things like that. That's the biggest difference from any other parenting style and gentle parenting, is like the demanding issue. You're not demanding them to do things. You're not telling them, no, you cannot do that. You're telling them, I will not let you do that because, and then explain why. So that's a little bit on like what gentle parenting is. And I also do want to put a disclaimer in here that I am not a professional on gentle parenting. I don't have any like degree or anything. I just have done my own research. I've done readings. And I follow a lot of people who are professionals on gentle parenting on Instagram. I'll leave some of their links down below of like my favorite ones, but that is how I've gotten like all my knowledge. And then also I don't follow it 100%. So there's little things that like I tweak, there's imperfections that I have. So I'm not 100% a gentle parent, just to put that out there, just for anyone who thinks like, oh, she thinks she's all that because she can gentle parent, woohoo. No, I have my days where I'm off. He has his days where he's off, and it just makes it a lot harder to gentle parent, and we just try to be better the next day, and that's it. But like I said, I'm not a professional, so don't take my word for anything. Do your own research on it. Tweak it to how it works for you guys if you want to try gentle parenting. And also, if you're thinking about like making a switch from what kind of parenting style you did before and now you're thinking about gentle parenting, don't think it's going to happen overnight. The switch will not happen overnight. You have to make adjustments, do small steps and different things like that to get to gentle parenting, if that makes sense. Okay, now why did I choose gentle parenting? So me personally, I think I kind of just took how I was raised and started learning about these other things like Montessori, for example. In Montessori, they talk a lot about gentle parenting too. So that's how I kind of learned about it. And it makes sense when you read about why to gentle parent and things like that. It just kind of clicks in your head and you're like, that's true. Why don't we all parent this way? I don't know. To me, that's how it sounded. Maybe not to you, maybe not to some people. They think that there should be like other ways of parenting, but to me it just clicked right away, and I was like, this is how everybody should parent, in my opinion. So that's why I started doing gentle parenting. So this one quote has really stuck with me in understanding children and how to parent them. So it says, I'm reading off my phone, so that's why I'm looking down, but it says, so often children are punished for being human. They are not allowed to have grumpy moods, bad days, disrespectful tones, or bad attitudes. Yet we adults have them all the time. None of us are perfect. We must stop holding our children to a higher standard of perfection than we can attain ourselves. And that, to me, when I read it, I was just like, wow, that is so true. Okay, sorry if the angle's kind of off. My other battery died, so I had to go ahead and switch batteries. But as I was saying, is that parents see their kids having like a bad day or a bad attitude, and right away in their head they're like, no, I need to fix this. You cannot have that attitude. You cannot be that way. You cannot be grumpy. You cannot be mad. And it's like, why? Don't you have days where you're grumpy? Don't you have days where you just don't feel like doing anything? Like, us as adults have those days, and you want a child to not have that kind of day? It doesn't make sense. Why do we hold them to that higher standard, like if they can handle all their emotions? We as parents tend to think that because we're adults, our problems are bigger than children's. And I see it a lot, all the time, and also with teenagers as well. I see this, but I'm not gonna touch on that topic too much. I'm talking about like younger children right now. But we just tend to think that our problems are greater because we're adults, because we have responsibilities to handle. But to a child, even though they don't have all of those responsibilities, any little thing that they can't do or they're still learning, those are big obstacles to them, and it's a big deal to them because they don't know anything bigger yet. Like, we had to go through those obstacles. If you think back on when you were a kid, things like that make you sad too. Little tiny things that now wouldn't make you sad anymore or make you angry. And then when you were a teenager, if you think about it, we all went through that phase where like everything is the end of the world and it's like all gonna come to an end because everything bad in our life just like is horrible, right? I feel like we've all gone through that as teenagers, and now as adults we look back on that and we're like, wow, that was so silly how we always thought that like our life was ruined at 13 or at 14, and now look at all these things that we have going on in our lives that are much greater and like more responsibility, and we don't think that way anymore. So I don't know, I think it's just like we forget as parents how it is to be a child and how it feels to be a child. And you need to remember when gentle parenting that kids are humans too. They're going to have bad days, they're going to have bad moods, and also us as adults, we have those moods and we know how to control them. If you don't, most likely it's because you were not parented by gentle parenting. So you never learned how to cope with your emotions, you never learned how to handle your emotions. There's a lot of people who become adults and they have all this rage and anger, and people are like, oh, they just have anger issues. Oh, they have road rage. Oh, it's just this. No, it's because when they were little, they were taught that anger and like lashing out is the only way to do it. They weren't taught how to handle anger, how to control it, and how to manage it, if that makes sense. Gentle parenting is all about learning your emotions and how to handle it, or figuring out why you have that emotion and fixing the problem. That's something a lot of people weren't taught as children, so now it's seen as like anger issues or just like an emotional issue somehow. This other graphic that I shared too really stuck with me, and basically it says, if you grew up in a home where real and raw feelings were not welcome, now as a parent you might feel 1, scared of tantrums, 2, overwhelmed by your kids crying, 3, rage when your kid expresses anger, 4, annoyed with your kids whining. And this was like to a T. It is so true. And it's just because we weren't raised that way. So now when our kids do it, we like get scared of it and we're like, no, you can't do that because it's not good. It's not. And that's just the way that we grew up and we got raised. But instead of that, now we're teaching, or now I'm teaching my child why he feels a certain way, how to fix how he's feeling that way. And I try to empathize with him. I try to be understanding, because in his mind, these are big feelings that he has. And to me, it may seem silly, like, oh, he wants the lid off of his cup, right? To me, that's no big deal. Just leave the lid on, right? But to him, it is a very big deal, and it makes him feel a way he doesn't know how to handle, so he's going to throw a tantrum. And we need to step in, make him realize, like, okay, this is why I'm feeling upset, this is what's wrong, this is what I could do to fix it, this is how I handle my emotions. I don't throw a tantrum, I handle them this way. And that's what gentle parenting is, taking that step in and trying to show them the right way to handle all of those big feelings that they have. Another thing I want to touch on too with gentle parenting is that most of the time, if your child is acting out, there's usually factors as to why they're acting out. So before just right away reacting and getting angry at them, take a step back and look at the whole situation and think about, why is your child acting that way? They may be bored. Maybe you've been doing the same thing for like an hour, and us as adults, we don't realize how fast time goes sometimes, and we're just like, oh, you're fine, just keep sitting there playing by yourself, but you're like busy doing dishes or something, and you look at the time and it's already been an hour, and they've been sitting there for the hour doing the same exact thing. So now they're upset and having a tantrum because they don't want to keep doing that same thing. When you're bored, you get upset too, and you don't want to do that same thing anymore either, so you go and do something else. They can't always just go do something else. Sometimes they need your help going to do that other thing. And so different things that can help shift their mood if they are having a tantrum, and this is in like the gentle parenting style. One of my favorite things is taking a bath. When he is having like meltdown after meltdown or tantrum after tantrum and just nothing is making him happy, I'm like, okay, let's go take a bath. One, it gives me a break because it is hard to continue to gentle parent, and sometimes I just can't. So when he's in the bath, I could just like calm myself and collect myself. 2, he loves baths. A lot of kids, obviously not babies, but like toddlers and kids, they usually love baths if you give them toys, if you give them an activity to do in there. There's like bath paint, all that foam stuff that you could put in baths, anything like that, and they'll be entertained and they'll be happy, and it'll help them also calm down from all the feelings that they were having before, be able to focus on one thing, is the bath. Another tip is dancing or music. If your kid likes music or likes to dance and they're throwing tantrums, turn on some music, stop what you're doing, even if it's laundry or the dishes or whatever, you can stop for 5 minutes, turn on some music and just dance with them. Let them have like a little dance party. again, it calms you down, it calms them down, it's some quality time together, and it's just so helpful for them to like just collect themselves, basically. Going outside is a really good one. Let me put it this way. If you're a stay-at-home mom, you and your child are home 24/7. Am I right? You feel cooped up in a house all day. Do we not feel like that as stay-at-home moms? You feel like you're in the house literally all day. Well, your kid feels like that too. Like, that's why earlier I said, to me it just makes sense to gentle parent, but I don't know. Yeah, your child is in the house all day too, bored. So if they're throwing tantrum after tantrum, having a really bad day, you don't understand why, what's going on, why are they so sad all the time, why are they so angry all day, why did they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, take them outside. Go for a small walk if the weather permits, obviously. Maybe go to like the park for a little bit. Just go outside. That sunlight helps so much improving moods. It'll improve your mood and it'll improve your child's mood as well. So going outside definitely helps. The last one I want to touch on for like helping kids with their tantrums or like their bad days is if they are asking you to go play with them, or they're asking you to do something and you have been around the house doing errands, cleaning up, doing things that need to be done, and you're not paying attention to them, or you've been on your phone, you've been watching TV, different things like that. We all do it. We're all guilty of it. But sometimes we don't realize, even me, I do this a lot too, we don't realize how much that's affecting our child and that they see us not paying attention to them. So then they come over and they start whining to you and they start being grumpy because they're looking for attention, and they know that whenever they throw tantrums or whenever they cry, they get attention out of it. So sometimes just think about, have I been giving my child attention today? Have I been ignoring them today? And if that was the case, then maybe all they need right now is some attention. So put down the dishes, stop doing the laundry, stop sweeping, vacuuming, whatever you're doing. Put your phone away also and go play with them for like 10 minutes. Just like your undivided attention. Actually engage with them, actually play with them, and let them lead. Because it will make them feel so much better. They will get that attention that they need. They will feel that love that they need. And it could help the day go by so much better because that's what they were looking for. They were looking for that attention. And then they'll feel that satisfaction of having the attention, so hopefully they won't have any more tantrums or any more like bad moods throughout the day because you gave them that undivided attention. And maybe this might have to happen a few times during the day, but I mean, they're only little once. What is 10 minutes out of your day spending time with the kid and not doing the dishes? Like, dishes can get done later. All the house things can get done at a later time. But your child is only going to be that little in that moment. So remember that. Okay, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the end of this video. I just want to talk about one more little graphic, and this one has also stuck with me, so that's why I want to talk about it really quickly. But it says, I've decided to stop cuddling my husband for the fear of spoiling him. At night, when I wake up needing a drink, I've decided that I won't get up and have one because I need to learn to self-soothe. I've decided to start smacking people at work so that they will respect me. I'm going to start using methods of humiliation towards my mother when she doesn't do as I ask. If a friend tells me they're anxious, I'll tell them that they're being silly and they should pull themselves together. Now, these all sound aggressive and abusive when we talk about treating adults like this. So why should it be any different for children? Take a minute. Let it absorb in your mind, because it is so true. They can't be angry, they can't be anxious, they can't be scared, they can't have anything. And our big thing in like normal parenting is telling them, oh, quit whining, oh, stop crying, oh, you can't do that, like things like that. And it's like, okay, but why? It doesn't click in the child's head. They just hear no, 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 no all day. That's what they hear. So I just think that gentle parenting, it helps them understand everything a lot more. And it also, gentle parenting is kind of like the way we would want to be treated. So if you guys remember that old saying, treat others the way you want to be treated, it's kind of going with that as well. If you were having big feelings, you wouldn't want someone to just go hit you and tell you to stop having those feelings. Like in adults, you would get in trouble for that if you were at work, or if you were just out in public and somebody just smacked you because you were having big feelings. It would start a big old fight because you don't do that to people. So why do we do it to children? I'm just leave you guys with that thought there. But I'm pretty sure I'm going to end the video here because I don't want it to be too long. So if you guys have more questions on gentle parenting, just leave any questions down below and I'll try to answer them. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. Like I said, it's just a talking video. That's why I call these Let's Talk, because I just sit down, talk about the subject and my opinion on it, what I've read on it, and that's pretty much it for the video. So if I left anything out, I'm sorry, but it was just like a little chatty video type of thing. And I really do hope you guys learn something from this and go research gentle parenting more, look into it more. Maybe you guys take some of my tips from today, who knows. But thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll be back with more videos.